Alright folks, so this continues our video series on the Circuit Playground Bluefruit, and in the last video I was logging the accelerometer and the temperature, and then I was logging that to a data file. And so now what I want to do is I want to get my phone out and I have it here, and I'm going to screen record my phone in a second to basically send data via Bluetooth to my phone. And so I have, sorry, that's my other monitor over here. I have code already that is on my GitHub. I just need to find it. Home, Carlos, Git repos, GitHub, microcontrollers, Circuit Playground, CircuitPython, and then Bluefruit should be in here. And so there's something, there's the plotter. I feel like that one's probably it. Let me make sure. So this is going to set up the thermistor and the light sensor. It's also going to set up the accelerometer. So I basically have a lot of this in here. This is a scale function to convert the light sensor value. Here's a while true loop, and basically everything's in here. So yeah, so this is perfect. I'm going to change the code a little bit. So I'm going to grab this, and then here's my code. I don't want to lose this. So I want to load that code. I think I've already pushed it to my repo. That should be in the CPB data logger. Yeah, here's the Bluefruit data logger. So yeah, so this is the same code that I already have, so I can now delete the code.py version. And then before I save this, like I said, I wanted to change a couple things. So first, I don't want a light sensor. I don't really care about that. The accelerometer is the same as we had before. So if you notice in the Bluefruit data logger, I mean, you know, here's the accelerometer and then here's a thermistor. Everything's exactly the same. It just might be that the names are a little bit different. Because I don't have the light sensor, I can get rid of this scale function. And then here is where I say I'm not connected. I'm going to advertise where I am, and that's where I'm going to jump on my phone. And then while I'm not connected, I'm just going to keep entering this while loop. And then finally, when I'm connected, I'm going to stop advertising my Bluetooth. And then I'm going to do some stuff here. So here's my temperature. So I'm going to make this capital T. So print the light values. So print thermistor to serial. So there's capital T. Here's accelerometer. I don't care about this. Let's go back to the other code. What was my data rate? It was 0.2. So I'm going to put my data rate at 0.2. And then I'm going to, I also want time, right? So time is T, time dot monotonic. Hopefully I have time imported, and I do. So I've got T, I've got time, I've got temperature, I've got X, Y, and Z. This time.sleep probably just needs to be down here. So I'll put in here, you know, sleep for 5 hertz. And then this is where I print to standard out. So I'm going to say print the T, X, Y, Z, and T, and then uncomment that, and then get rid of that. So this is where I just print to standard out. Okay, and I'm not gonna write to the onboard memory yet. I'd like to separate it. So the first video I made, I just read the raw data and printed it to serial. The second video, I logged it to disk. This video, I'm going to just do Bluetooth, and at the last video, I'll combine everything together, and we'll log data to the disk, and we'll do Bluetooth. Okay, so then we send everything over serial. So if you look at these commands, basically what you have to do is you have to do this uart server command, and you give it like these 3 empty arrays, and then you format XYZ. But I also want to send time and temperature, and so I'm going to do 5 brackets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there we go. So this should work here. So I'm going to hit save, and it says no module named Adafruit BLE. So what you need to do is go to CircuitPy and go to the lib folder, and then do the same thing over here. Go to Git repos, GitHub, and hopefully I have, and oh yeah, by the way, just to make sure you guys understand how to do this. So this is version 6.3.0, okay? So we need to grab in the microcontrollers and the CircuitPython libraries version 6.0, so that's perfect. So there should be an Adafruit, and BLE is right there, so I'm just going to grab Adafruit BLE, go back to mu, and it's probably copying over. Yeah, it's copying over. Okay, so now it says not connected, and it's entering into a infinite while loop. So I'm going to start recording on my phone now, and let's see, start now. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. So I'm recording on my phone now. So I will superimpose this on the end of the other video. But so I've gone to the App Store and I've downloaded the Bluefruit Connect app, and I'm going to hit open to open it. And it says there that there is something else is blasting on Bluetooth 1D:, but there's also a CircuitPy FE8. So I'm going to connect to that one. And actually, if you look at the serial monitor, you'll notice as soon as I connected, I am printing out the time, XYZ, and also the temperature. So if on my phone, if I go to UART, I should also see, oh, it said not connected. UART protocol cannot be initialized. Okay, so let's try this again and open the UART. There we go. So the UART now is coming in, and I am reading in data, which is very cool. I can also send it data, but right now it's just receiving data. So the cool thing about the accelerometer, about the Bluetooth, so I'm going to move this around, and like I said, you'll see that the screen is, the standard out is moving, and the results on my phone are moving. And so what I want to do here is kind of neat. Is let's say you put your Bluefruit on a plane or a car or something, and you're getting Bluetooth data, and then all of a sudden, like your Bluetooth, like your car goes off a cliff and you lose it. Well, you can hit these 3 dots in the upper right hand corner, and you can actually export a CSV file. And this is going to, let's say, go to Google Drive, and I'm going to go into my Google Drive folder, and oops, that's fine. I'm just going to put it here in my main folder and hit save, and then that's going to prepare to upload. And at that point, I can stop videotape. Well, the one other thing I want to show you before I stop videotaping on my phone is that if you click the plotter, this will be kind of hard to see because it's plotting time. But one thing that might be neat here is if I go to the code, and if I get rid of T and T, so time and temperature, and save that, my phone is going to lose connection, and I'm going to go and reconnect to the Pi, or sorry, to the CircuitPlayground. And if I hit the plotter, now what's really neat is that you can actually see in real time the plotted data, which is just very, very cool and very slick. So if I hold it down, there is the z-axis, and then if I rotate it, now the x-axis has negative 9.8. If I rotate it one more time, sorry, you can't see the CircuitPlayground, you can see that all the accelerometer measurements are moving, which again is very cool. Okay, so the last thing I want to show in this video, so I'm going to stop recording my phone, is I want you to see, I'm going to do this off camera, I'm going to download this timestamp file and throw it on the desktop. And so now if I go to my desktop, you'll see the videos that I'm recording, and then I'm going to rename this. For some reason it put a comma in here, which is just not very good practice. But if I open up this timestamp mode file, you'll see that it's got all the data in there. And so it's got, this is interesting, so it's time, X, Y, and then time again, and then Z, and then the temperature. So I'm not entirely sure what this number is here, because that's definitely time. I don't know what that is, and I don't know what that is. So it looks like it's getting 3 data messages at once. So you're getting, I can't zoom in on this. So you're getting the first reading is time, and then X, Y, and then a random measurement, and then Z, and then temperature, and then another random. And it looks like that's repeating over and over and over again. So what I want to do is I want to open Tony, and I should probably close some programs. So now that I'm not using, well, it's fine. So what I want to do in Tony is I want to make a code real quick on the fly, you know me, and import that data. So import numpy as np, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. And then I want to, so the problem with that file, so here's the issue with this file, is that I can't use numpy import to import this, unfortunately. Like it's not going to happen. So what I need to do is I need to say file is, and I want to open the timestamp mode.txt. And remember, this is a text file that I got from my phone. So the Bluetooth module on the Circuit Playground was sending data to my phone, and then my phone, I exported that to a CSV file to Google Drive, and then downloaded it onto my computer, and that's what I have here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for line in file, and for now I'm just going to make sure this works, and I'm just going to print the line and just make sure that my the code is doing what I think it does. So I'm going to go to the desktop. I'm going to say plot ble data.py, and we should see, boom, there's all the data. Okay, so there's a lot of data that we need to cut out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off a counter. Okay, and I'm going to say if counter equals, I'm going to say -1. Okay, so I'm going to say -1. If counter is -1, that is the first line of data. I'm going to say not equal to -1. I'm going to print the line, okay, and hit save here, or run. Then I'm going to say counter plus equals 1, okay. And so now the counter is going to count up, but what we should see is, and I'm going to throw a Z in there, and the first print that we see, counter doesn't equal 1. Oh, it always equals 1. So we always need to add a 1 to it. Okay. And there we go. So we should see, oh, an indentation error, of course. We should see, nope, because it's the first one. So I want the code to break there, and I'm going to hit go. And there we go. So the first, so you see it skipped the first line, and then it pulled in that first line there, okay? So what we need to do is we need to pull in the next 3 lines, okay? So if counter equals 0, then I'm going to say the first row is the line, okay? Then if the counter is 1, then it's the second row, okay? And I'm going to say it's a line. If counter equals 2, then we have a third row, and that's the line. If counter equals 3 now, so now we've reset back to the top. And actually, you know what I want to do, when I have the third row, this is what I want to do. I want to reset the counter to 0 to go back to, and I want to print the first row, I want to print the second row, and I actually don't want to print the third row because there's nothing in it. And we should see now a lot of data here, assuming everything is working properly. So let's go all the way down to the bottom of this data file, and there's 1233.3. You know what we need to do? We need to say 1 equals, so I know what I'm printing, 2 equals, and then go from there and say play. Okay, so once that's done running, this is a really long data. I didn't realize it was taking so much data. So it's the first row is the 12,389. I don't even see that. 12. There's a 12,433, and then it's still. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize I was printing this line here. Okay, so does it repeat? Is it really like those same 3? Because if it's not, oh, see, look at this. Oh dear. See, the data got jumbled here. So I received this one here. So everything kind of got out of whack. So it's almost like I need to do a check. this isn't working the way I want, where I want the first, second, and third rows. It looks like if you get a row with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements, that is a first row. And then if you get if the following one has an integer, then you're going to get the next 2 data streams. And then finally, if you get just 1, 2, 3, a length of 3, then then that's just nothing. So as I scroll down here, so like here, so here's 5, but then here, like, we're missing this, but I think this is okay. That's the X accelerometer measurement, but there's no third row there, so we don't need to skip it. So well, this is actually more difficult than I had initially anticipated. So I think really rather than doing this counter thing, I think what we need to do is we need to do some sort of recognition. So what we need to do is we need to say row is line dot split by a comma, okay? And then if the length of our data array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if the len of the row is equal to 5, then we print the row. And I think that should only give us the data that we want. Exactly. Okay, so then now what we need to do is we need to say we need to check and see if the 0, 1, 2, if the second number is a decimal or an integer. So we need to say if, I'm going to call it the time flag. Time is row of 0, 1, 2, okay? If, I'm going to say numpy.round of time is equal to time, then it's an integer. So I'm going to just print the row and make sure that this works, and let's see what happens. It threw an error because, I don't know. That's a lot of errors. Oh my goodness. Problem with Tony's backend. Okay. I need to convert this to a double. Duh. That's why. Okay. And then it also, sometimes it can't, it looks like is it printing the row? So what I should do is I should print the raw row here. And then that way I can see why it threw the error. So at some point, here's the raw row, 0, 1. There's just an empty space. And so I guess if it's an empty space, I'm just going to, I kind of just want to throw it out, because I want to make sure that I've got enough data. Oh, I didn't realize I can do that. That's kind of neat. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, if I get something where it's supposed to be an integer and it's not, I kind of just want to throw it out. So time is double row of 2, 0, 1, 2. And if it's empty, I don't even really want it, just to be safe. So I'm going to say if len of time is equal to 0, don't even do it. I'm going to say not equal to 0. And then here, if np round time equals time, then print the row. Okay, let's see how that works. Let's see. Oh, because I converted it to a double. Okay, so let's do that. And then down here, I'll say time is np double of time. Once I know that it has the right length, I can pull it in. Okay, so it looks like it's doing its thing. So now I'm going to say row here is like that. And so I should see some raw rows and some rows. Yeah, so I see a raw row and then a row. So in this case, so I should only see it when you get an integer there. Cool. Okay, so then what we basically, so let's comment this out. Okay, so we are opening the file. Okay, and then we are looping through file. Okay, and guys, I'm really sorry this video is so long. This is importing this data is a lot harder than I thought. We are printing the list for every row. Okay, and then here we are checking to see if the row is valid. Okay, and then we are getting our time flag, and then if time is valid, continue, right? And then here where we convert to a double, so here we just convert to a double, and then here we say check to see if this is a first row or a second row. So what I want to do is I want to say if np.round equals time, then this is a second row. Second row equals the list, so row. Okay, and then otherwise it's a first row. So we'll say first row is a row, is the row. Okay, now I'm assuming that the first row is going to come in first, and then the second row is going to come in afterwards. I am at least going to assume that. So what I want to do is I want to say first row is none, and then second row is none. Okay, and what I want to do is if we get a second row, what I want to do is I want to see if a first row is valid. So if first row is not none, I want you to print the first row, and I want you to print the second row. And I also want you to print valid packet received. Okay? And then I'm also going to print a dash here. So let's run that, and let's wait for the code to kind of print all of its junk. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but it also you could even do this by timestamp. Like I'm doing time from the Circuit Playground, but you can you can't see that. I'm doing time from the Circuit Playground down here, but it's also giving you time from the phone, which is kind of neat. So you could always parse that if you wanted to. Anyway, so here's the raw row, and here are the first two raw rows right here, and then it's saying, hey, I got these two rows and I got a valid packet, and here's time, X, Y, Z, and then temperature. And then here on this raw row, it didn't receive a valid packet. And we could probably scroll up, this is not a valid packet here, so it skipped it. But then it got this two rows and it said, hey, valid packet received. And so once I have verified that I have a valid packet, I can now I'm off to the races here. So I can go ahead and comment all this out, and I can say okay, you know what? I can make some empty arrays. So I can say T is an empty array, X is an empty array, Y is an empty array, Z is an empty array, and capital T is an empty array. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if a valid packet is received, I'm going to unpack the data. Okay? So I know I'm going to do t.append of the first row, and I have to grab, let's see, 0, 1, 2, so that's row 2, and I have to convert that to a double. Okay? Then I want x.append is np.double first row of 3. And then I think that's all in the first row. Time x, no, y is also in there. So now I'm going to say y.append np.double first row of 4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say first row is none. Why? Because I want to make sure that it's grabbing the right things, okay? In the event that there's two bad packets at once, or for some reason the first packet is bad and the second packet is good, or vice versa. And then I need to now do the same thing. Now I need to say z.append np.double second row. Now for the second row, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Because this integer is some some Bluefruit specific packet that it brought in, okay? Then I'm going to say the temperature dot append is np double second row of 4, right? That's 4, yep. And then what I should be able to do is after I pull all this in, so if I get rid of all the print statements, all right, I really hope this works, I should be able to convert everything to numpy arrays. So I'm going to do x is np.array x, y is np.array y, z is np.array z, and t is np.array t. Okay, I should be able to plt.plot t comma x, plt.plot t comma y, plt.plot t comma z, and then plt.figure, and then plt.plot t comma t, and then plt.show. Now this video is already long enough, so I'm not going to add any of the legends or grids or anything. I'm just going to stop the video once this works. I'll debug it, but if it works, we're done. Look at that. So there's the temperature data, and there's the accelerometer data from the Bluefruit, okay? I'm going to post a link in the video to the code on the Circuit Playground to send the data via UART. You're going to see the video from my phone. I'm also going to post this code, this plot ble data.py. Keep in mind, if you write your own Bluefruit code and you send data to your phone and you export it to a CSV file, this code up here is specific to the file that I received. I have no idea if you're going to get the same kind of file, so just keep in mind that you might get a data file over here that looks completely different. It took me a while to sort of unpack exactly what that data was sending me and what it looked like. So don't just grab the data and just don't just like grab my code, send it to your phone, pull it down, and then run this code that I just showed you and plot it and say, hey Monty, it didn't work. Okay, if your data file looks differently, then your code to unpack the data is going to look differently as well. I know in the comments people have been saying I code very fast. I hope that, I don't know, I'm a lot more mature. Maybe I was going slower. Maybe I was going too fast. I tried to walk through everything that I was doing here. If you have a question, just post it in the comments. Ooh, I forgot something. Second row is none. I forgot to initialize that. Okay, this has been a really great video. I'm glad I got this to work. This was kind of cool. I guess I'll see you all in the next video. I hope you have a good one.